you're welcome to my channel. I am Cleddy. I am a kiddies fashion designer and a kiddies fashion tutor. I drop tips, tricks in making kids outfits on this channel. Please ensure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss a thing each time I make a post. What we are going to learn is how to draft the pattern of the dress that was used on the thumbnail. Without wasting so much time, let us get started. And please ensure to watch to the end so that you get all the tips you need to make this beautiful outfit. I'm going to give you all the tips for sewing it. And if you want the sewing tutorial, comment I'm interested in the sewing tutorial. And trust me, I am going to drop a video on it. Okay, so let's start. The fabric I'm using, or the fabric I would recommend you use, is either you use Mikado fabric, Mikado, or you use scuba fabric, something thick. Okay, for this for mine, it is scuba fabric I'm using. You can see the thickness of this fabric. It is thick, so it will accommodate that structure, the structure we need on the lower part of the gown. Okay, this is the starting line, and her shoulder measurement is 4 inches. So I'll just go ahead and mark the 4 inches there. We are not straight in nature. We have, like, our shoulders have slope. So it happens with children as well. So that's the shoulder slope, which is 0.75. It works for children. Okay, for the neck width and neck depth, this is just standard. It is at this point, when you're finished calculating this, is at this point you now choose how wide you want it to be or how fitted you want it to be. For the neck depth and the neck width, what we usually do is chest measurement divided by 12 inches. Okay, so this child's chest measurement is 19 divided by 12 will give me about a little more than 1.5, but I'm just going to go ahead and use 1.5 by 1.5. okay, now note, this is not the final drafting of the child's neck width, even as we are making a turtleneck. Okay, this is not the final. Okay, then I'm going to just go ahead and slant it to the shoulder slope, okay, to the 0.75. Then after doing that, the next thing we are going to do is the child's chest line. Chest measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Okay, so what we are going to have there, what you're going to have for this child is about 4 point something, but I am going to start from the beginning. Okay, from this beginning part. This child is not really big, so I'm just going to start from the beginning, the starting line, to mark out my 4.5 inches. Maybe at this point I should use a marker so it's easier for us to see the lines better. I'll just take that same 4.5, I'll bring it all the way down and I'll mark it. If you're interested in our online classes, we have online classes where we drop all the details, we explain everything, and you have a one-on-one discussions with me. Ask me questions about business as a whole or about the course itself. So we have courses online. You can check out our page on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Cleddy Kiddies Collections, and you could take up a course there, and that's fine. Okay, so after doing that, what we're going to do is, after marking that line, we are going to just mark dotted lines, because you know these are not actually permanent lines, so we are just going to make it dotted lines all the way. The next thing is for us to impute the child's chest measurements. We're going to divide it by 4. You know, for front is folded into 2 and back is folded into 2. That's all together 4. Okay, so we're going to divide it by 4, and what we have is going to be 4.75. So I just went ahead and marked the 4.75 there, and I'm going to connect the lines together. What you can do is, you know, from here, from this shoulder slope, divide this into 2. Just go down again by ½ inch, so that you will know. Then you, by that ½ inch, you also come in again by ½ inch as well, so that you connect it from the shoulder slope all the way. If you're okay, you can see this, right? So mine can actually go, but if your pastor master cannot allow you do this curve, just go ahead, curve it and stop at this point, then also curve it down. That's as simple as that. Okay, So we have this now. The next thing we are going to do is we are going to mark the child's half length measurement. The child's half length measurement is 7.5. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my 7.5 at this point. That's the child's half length. And the child's full length measurement is 18 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the 18 inches. I can even make at this point, oh, sorry, this is 7. It's supposed to be 7.5. At this point, okay, sorry, this is 7.5, okay? I made a mistake. You see why I love using, okay, on this one, it was correct. Okay, it's only the first one. Then the full length of the child is 18 inches. Here is 18 inches. We'll go ahead and mark out our 18 inches. So I can just go down a little more. For this child's half length, I can go down a little more because, it's a fitted dress. If it is going to be a ball dress, I would maintain my 7.5. But since it is fitted, I can just go down by 8 inches, okay? So that it doesn't look too awkward. So 8 inches it is. At this point, I can mark it down. Next thing we are going to do is the child's hip measurement. For age 1 to 3, I can add between 4 to 5 inches for the hip line. And for this child, I'll just go ahead and do 4.5 from the waistline. On the waistline, I'll impute the measurement, which is also 19 inches. That's 4.75. And on the hip line, I'll add maybe 4 inches to the hip. If it is going to be a fitted top, a fitted gown is going to be 4 inches. But if it is going to be just like what we are making is exaggerated, so I can add 4 inches here, and I'll still go ahead and add extra 4 or 8 inches to it. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. So let's do it this way. Okay, this is already on fold. So what I'm going to have here is going to be 4.75. I'll add extra 2 inches to it. That will make it 6.75. I will even approximate it to 7 because it is exaggerated hip. I'm going to give you the tips we use in making this structured. Aside the fact that you have to use a scuba, I'll also show you tips in making the skirt part structured as well. Of course, one of the things you need is boning. So I'll tell you how to use the boning. Connect the lines, okay? Connect the lines from the chest line to the waistline. After doing that, the next thing is the hip, which I've added already. I've added like over 2 inches to it. So I'll just go ahead and mark out the 7 inches for the hip measurement, okay? I hope that makes sense. To the hip measurement, and that means you've added more than 8 inches all the way around, okay? So you can see that same measurement of 7 inches is what you bring down here and also mark it down. So this is what you will go ahead and mark out. Can you see how it's looking? But this lace really looks very sharp. What you will have to do is to blend this in. You can use any point to blend it in. Blend, blend, blend. And you see how this gown is going to look absolutely beautiful. Trust me, it's going to look beautiful. So we are done with the front part. But okay, before we go ahead to the back part, what we just have to do is on this front part, it has like a princess that what you can do is, mark out. Like what we have here is like 4.75. What I usually do for between age 1 to age 3, what I will do is 2 inches. So I'll just come in by 2 inches for them. Okay, mark a straight line. To the chest line, I'll just come down again by maybe 0.5 inches and mark a straight line, and then connect it to that this half length measurement, this half inches on this point. So just be careful, don't do too much. You can see how I'm curving my ruler. Okay, so you just do it that way and blend it in, and that's it. You can use this same measurement, okay, to cut out the back. But when we are cutting out the back, we have to ensure that we put zipper allowance to the back, and also we have to ensure that the back neck width is 1 inch, okay? is 1 inch around here. Okay, but I want to cut it out and also draft out the neck width. I have to do the back as well. This is our chest line. Okay, this is our half length line where we put our waist measurements, and this is our hip line. This is our hem line. Okay, the length of the skirt, hem line, hem line. Okay, so we're going to, this is center front, this is center front, center front. Okay, I'll go ahead and input my zipper allowance. Okay, my zipper allowance, I can use 1 inch. This is our shoulder measurement. We go ahead and input our 4 inches. Okay, the same measurements we imputed at the back part. Go ahead and input 4 inches there. Then for the slope for the back, the slope for the back is ½ inch. It works perfectly as well for children, but here you maintain your 1.5 inches, but down here it is 1 inch you go for. Okay, and you connect it and connect. You connect this as well. You can see the back part is not hard. For the back part, what I usually do, I don't come in by that ½ inch. Okay, I'll just go ahead and just mark my, once I mark my chest line, which is 4.75, 4.75. Let me write zipper allowance here so it helps us better. Zipper allowance. Okay, okay, so I'll just mark out my listen, and I connect it. I connect it all the way. I don't slope it. I don't give that 0.5 inches on the half length. I just connect it all the way. Okay, and after doing that, the next thing is for us to mark out the waist measurement. The waist, of course, is 0.75 as well, which we mark here. Here is 7 inches. I'll mark. Here is 7 inches. I'll mark. We had already done all the calculations, so that's why it's just easier for me to go ahead and mark without explaining why. And here you have your back block, and so let's label it half length. Okay, chest line, hip line. We are going to blend this in. Okay, so we avoid all those points, those pointy points. Okay, we're blending this in as well. Then hem line. Okay, and that's it. I'll mark out what is here. 1 point, let's say almost 1.75. I'll mark it out and then mark my 1.2 inches here, sorry, and connect. This side is entirely optional. For the darts in this side is entirely optional, because not like we have bust at that part, but it's just mainly for design anyways, but it is entirely optional. You can choose to or choose not to. Okay, so I'm just blending it in, and that's it. Let me drop all the tips you need while I am cutting this out. Here is what I'm cutting out. Okay, I'm cutting out from the hem line all the way. I'm just following those lines. Make sure that you cut your fabric. Of course, if you want to, depending on the kind of fabric you want to use, you can use crepe as the lining for this, or you use satin. See, the lining is actually your preference, but I'm just telling you the fabric that goes best, which is the main fabric. And the main fabric is, of course, either Mikado fabric or scuba fabric, a thick fabric. Okay, you can use brocade, damask. I don't know which is brocade and which is damask, but you know what I'm talking about. You can use those kind of fabrics that are thick. Okay. And also, when you want to sew it, try and use boning on the lower part. Okay, so that it gives you structure. You can impute boning, but when you are imputing the boning, make sure it is on the lining part. So you can put a boning. Okay, let me open this. Just because you want the structure to remain. If you go ahead and sew this cloth like this, it will collapse. It will collapse. That's the truth. But if you want this structure to remain, what you need to do is you can impute boning channels, maybe like two, one up here and one down here. So it maintains this. Of course, it's going to be regular boning, a sewable boning. Okay, so it maintains the structure. And just like I said, you are sewing it on the lining. You're not sewing it on the fabric. We don't want to see those plenty lines on the fabric. Then when you're done with that, you also impute on the joining. Okay, you also impute a boning channel here, a boning channel in between this line, so that it also keeps it in place. I hope these tips help with your next exaggerated hip dress for kids. Please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you get informed each time I make more posts like this. For the turtleneck, it is when we have joined it together that we will know the exact measurements to use for the turtleneck. Our pattern is ready for cutting out. Okay, for the turtleneck, what you can do is you just come in here. You come in here by 0.25 inches, because you know it's turtleneck, 0.25 inches, and then here you can do 0.75 inches, and you connect it and cut it out. Cut this out. Then you, for the back, 0.25, you know, it has to align with the front. Let me push this aside. It has to align with the front. So 0.25, but you are connecting it to this 0 point, to this 1 inch. Okay, then you cut it out. When you cut it out, after you've joined it at the side, okay, you've joined this at the side, you will then go ahead and measure out what you have. Go ahead, measure out what you have here. Okay, go ahead, measure out what you have after joining it. Then you cut it out on bias form. Okay, I'll make a different tutorial for that. See you on my next one. Bye.